Hey, fellow babies, and welcome to the show that Penn said was like a beautiful trip to Disneyland while tripping on LSD. And Teller said, it's the 42 show.
Boom! And welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. And in shocking news tonight, the Federal Aviation Administration grounds Santa's sleigh over compliance violations. That's right. The FAA's decision comes after a week of outcry concerning the large number of unidentified objects flying in U.S. airspace. The list of violations include unregistered aircraft. Yes, Santa has been operating an unmarked, untraceable, and completely undocumented air vehicle for centuries. Santa Claus does not hold a valid pilot's license either. He's also got non-standard navigation lights. A single red light from Rudolph's nose is totally inadequate, and the use of sleigh bells for locating is next to laughable. He's also got unsecured cargo. The sleigh's payload is neither secured nor evenly distributed. And he's got unlawful use of airspace. Santa routinely violates restricted airspace, including but not limited to military zones, commercial flight paths, and UFO hotspots. NORAD's annual tracking program was described as a complete negligence. And he's also an unapproved use of magic. The sleigh's reliance on holiday spirit and Christmas magic has been flagged as untested and unverifiable propulsion system. Santa, for his part, was outraged by the ruling, calling it bureaucratic nonsense. But the FAA has offered to allow Santa to resume operations if he complies with regulations by December 24th.
Free Santa! Free Santa!
This is what you get now. You got Trump.
Well, speaking of, so Trump is off his rocker now because he's doing the whole thing again with Canada. You know, that flag behind me there, becoming part of the United States. He's ramping it up on Truth Social. You know, that website that people go to if they're serious mega troll fools and all they do is sniff the butt of the Trump. He says that most people in Canada want to become the 51st state. Donald, I've never met a Canadian who would say that without being so pissed drunk he thought the rest of the room was gonna think it's funny. He says Canada would save on taxes and military protection, and that he thinks it's a great idea. He's been making repeated digs here for the last little bit now. And the suggestion that Canada could become the 51st state. I just want to say one thing, Mr. Trump. Our country is bigger than yours.
Ooh, and so's your dad.
Yeah. And I mean, just because we have the son of a great prime minister as a prime minister now, doesn't mean that most of us still don't think you're an orange shit gibbon. Thank you, Commander Lance. Now, Trump has threatened that when he becomes president next month, he's going to impose the tariffs and all the goods. And you know what he's really pissed off about is the flow of migrants and illegal drugs. Now, I used to live right on the border of Canada and the USA. Literally, I used to take my grass clippings across the street and throw them over the fence onto American soil when I mowed my lawn, right? Now, I'm serious. And we used to live, like, you could see the border crossing, the big deal right just off to the side. We lived right there. And on a few occasions, the border guards would come knocking on our door and say, stay inside. We got somebody crossing up north and we got to catch them. Never once was it the other way around. Right. And number two, the flow of illegal drugs. You know how much fentanyl and whatnot comes into Canada from the United States, you orange painted asshole? Who do you think you're talking to, you lump of dog shit?
Maybe he thought all the grass clippings you were chucking over the border was grass.
Yeah. Whitefishy there in the chat mentioned guns. We got massive amounts of illegal guns that come up through the border as well. Sure, we've been pumping marijuana into your country for a long time now, right? But marijuana is virtually not a big deal because, like in your country now, Trump, many people are legalizing it because nobody cares anymore. But from the States comes real shit to us. So no offense to anybody in America, but Trump, you're so far off the mark, it's not funny. Fuck you, pal.
Yeah, maybe you should be pumping marijuana into the United States, but in the air, just like downwind. Just chill out, you bastards.
We need a pipeline for smoke, and everybody could just go over and put a loony in it and take a puff, right? No. But yeah, come on, man. Oh man, it's so. And when the tariffs hit, because of our prominence in automotive and all kinds of other things that you actually need, Donald, it's not going to work out well for your citizens. So when they show up at your Mar-a-Lago with pitchforks and torches, I hope they get you.
I heard some things about the tariffs, from China. We'll bring it up in the after show tomorrow. Remind me.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So where are you taking us here on...
Well, yes, I've got a little story to tell you.
What the hell is this thing?
I don't know. It's a mascot. Yeah, but this story begins during the second quarter of Monday night's game between Charlotte Hornets and the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah, we all watched that, didn't we? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do they play? Badminton? Is that?
Yeah. Crochet. Yeah, I know. But Hugo, the team's mascot, dressed as a Santa Claus. Well, it's a hornet dressed as Santa Claus. That means anything. Is invited a 13-year-old fan onto the court. A letter to Santa requested a PlayStation 5 was read aloud, and soon after, a cheerleader presented the boy with a coveted gaming console, sparking cheers from the crowd and clear excitement from the young fan. Behind the scenes, however, there was more to the story because Alexi Phillips, the boy's uncle, and a Hornets season ticket.
Probably
holder.
A fan of both. Go on.
Yeah, he's got a horse season ticket too. He later revealed that the team staff had approached the family earlier in the game to participate in the skit. Moments before it began, Phillips was quietly informed that the boy would not be allowed to keep the PS5. But this critical detail was not communicated to his nephew. Once the camera stopped rolling, the excitement took a sudden turn as witnesses reported that a Hornet staff member took the console back off the boy and hand him a jersey instead. Confusion swept through the court, leaving not only the boy and his family, but also team performers visibly stunned. At first, some of the audience assumed that it was part of the act, but as the truth became apparent, frustration started to simmer. Yes, the incident quickly spread on social media after a bystander's post went viral, amassing over 3.4 million views by Tuesday night. Fans expressed their outrage, calling the Hornets' actions misleading and Grinch-like. They took the fucking thing back off him again.
They pay basketball players, what, $30-40 million a season? Give me that toy back, you little punk.
Yeah, I wonder if we got that for nothing.
Holy God.
So by Tuesday, the Hornets addressed the backlash with a public apology. In their statement, the team admitted the poor decision-making, you stupid assholes, and miscommunication, described the incident as a mishap. He said, simply put, we turned the ball over, whatever that's supposed to mean, and we apologize. The organization pledged to make amends, promising to give the boy the PS5 he had been promised, along with a VIP experience at a future game. That means
VIP experience. Give the kids season tickets for life.
Well, a VIP experience is probably in the shower room later, with the players.
Does it come with a psychologist?
Yeah, Phillips later confirmed that the Hornets had reached out to apologize and rectify the situation. There are no hard feelings, he said, but this could have been avoided if they'd just given him the jersey in the court in the first place. He would have been thrilled.
No doubt.
The Hornets ultimately lost the game to the Sixers, 21-1 to 108, dropping their record. Who cares how the game went? Yeah, the but they lost.
Okay, so here's how the Charlotte Hornets are run. Here's the boardroom talk for this. I got a great idea. What we're gonna do is find some kid whose parents can't afford to get him a PS5.
Mhm.
We're gonna read his letter out in the middle, and we're gonna give it to him. And as soon as the camera's cut, we're gonna take it away. So up here in our rich booth with our binoculars, we can laugh at him as he cries.
Yeah, little git.
Wow.
I mean, why stop at one kid? Why not line up hundreds of kids, poor kids, and say, yeah, here you go, you get one, you get a PS5, you get you get the same one. Well, actually, can we have the box back? We've got to get it for the next kid. Nobody gets one. Yeah, but they all look good. Oh,
if you're one of those 5
horrible.
or 6 people on Blue Sky that are all into like tarot cards and stuff and keep offering me readings, the ones that look like they sweat too much, you should do a reading and put a hex on the Charlotte Hornets so they never ever win the title again.
As Heather Wiley in the chat says, beware of Hornets dressed as Santa.
Yeah, exactly.
I always hit him with my badminton racket. Twang! Bloody things.
Yeah. Let's see here. So I want to get to this one next. That is a picture.
That's a photograph.
Yeah, that's a photograph that NASA didn't take because you can't. It's so confusing. So that's an image of the flat Earth with the ice wall. And
no, it's missing. It's missing the ice wall. Look,
that's true. It's actually
inaccurate.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I guess you can tell at this point that I don't have the imaging right. Well, it's not me; it's the thing, right? So
it's the flat earthers who haven't given us the image.
Yeah,
yet.
exactly. Well, yeah, they haven't given us a model either. So some people are still convinced that we got the whole flat Earth, but now Jaron Campanella, he's one of the big flat earthers, Jaronism, PJCnet, and a few of us in the chat from the old days watching flat Earth assholes. We know who he is. Let me show you a picture. That's him. No, it's not a good enough picture. That's him. No,
that's it. Yeah, that's in his normal environment.
Yeah, there he is. There's the mastermind of reality himself right there. He's one of the guys that just went down for what they call the final experiment. And they went down to Antarctica to witness that firsthand, like being there, that you could see a 24-hour sun in the southern hemisphere summer. How that didn't have to be such a tongue twister to say.
No, you made it one. But
yeah. So how it works is on the flat Earth, as the way these morons, that guy right there you're looking at, the way they say it is that there's an ice wall, and they imagine the sun and the moon going around on top of like a pizza, flat Earth, and the sun is not a ball of light; it's more like a flashlight that just emits a cone. And so that's how you can have day and night, because I mean, if it was really a ball, the light would just, I know it's stupid, but
it's so hard to explain flat Earth to people who don't think it's a flat Earth.
I know. I'm scared somebody's going to join the stream while I'm saying it and go, wow, I didn't know he was such a moron. It's right.
This will be clipped.
Yeah. So Jaron here, the big man himself, looks at the camera and he says, well, and this is while he's in Antarctica, sometimes you're wrong in life. And I thought there was no such thing as 24-hour sun. In fact, I was positive of it. And it is a fact. The sun does circle around you in the south. And he says, so what does that mean? Well, you guys are going to have to find that out for yourself. And he still would not admit. He would not admit it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, do I have to say any more to really point out that Jaronism, Mr. Campanella, is one of the dumbest human beings on the planet? He was in that documentary Behind the Curve. And Dunk, you remember that one, right?
Oh,
the stupid
yes.
son of a bitch debunked his own theory with that light experiment, right? Do you remember that?
Now the thing is, Dick's reporting on this story not just because we know what's been going on. We have, I'll be keeping an eye on it. No, the fact is, this actually got into the news. This is actually in the press.
Yeah, it's the Daily Mail, but still, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got a website, Jeranism.com, and he flogs all this anti-NASA crap and whatnot. And he also describes himself as a crypto enthusiast. Why?
Yeah.
Not that he has any money to invest, but he's totally willing to take it as a donation.
Oh yeah, and also he was part of his own cryptocurrency thing that he was trying to scam people with.
Oh yeah, just like a few people that have done it recently too, you know. And he even said, though, I'll be called a shill. A hint to where this channel got its name, for just saying
he's not one of our shills.
yeah. But he says he'll be called a shill for saying that he saw a 24-hour sun. But he said he wants to be honest. Now, he's going to be the latest in this thing that's happened in the flat earth community over the last like 4 or 5 years, where you get somebody that rises to a bit of prominence as a flat earther, and then they flip-flop and realize they're wrong for views, and then they get all kinds of subs because the people that have been debunking them for 20 years or whatever finally sub them, and all the community does, and then they start putting out other content and nobody watches it, and their whole thing crashes. So Jaron, if you want to keep making $900 a month to live in your parents' basement, you should continue being a flurf, a flat earther.
Again, this is another thing we should talk about tomorrow in the after show, because it's very interesting. But I kind of like see him because it's got to the national press, and they've just basically done a hit piece on him, making him look like a complete fucking idiot. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he kind of goes a little bit quiet on Flat Earth for a little while.
Didn't we? Oh, okay. Yeah. I see that. It could be, but I think, didn't we have this piece of trash on, didn't we have him on for a debate and just have him annihilated on our channel?
No, not Jeranism.
Who was the guy that kind of looks like him?
Well, we had David Weiss on.
That's it. Yeah. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. When you've seen somebody pull their pants down and light their fart on fire, you've seen it a bunch,
Now, David Weiss was invited to go to the Antarctic expedition, but he refused because he knew that he'd have to be embarrassed by his, the whole experience, and he'd have to shut up about his grift. So he just refused to go so he can carry on. But anyway, we'll definitely talk more about this in the after show tomorrow.
Shout out time.
It's fun.
Dimitri Siganova sent in $12 direct donation here. To Beer Fun from Kaunas, Lithuania, and Slava, Ukraine. Heroam Slava. Oh, well done. Thank you there, Demetrius, because there is one tonight, and I could use the help. Oh, man. So, yeah, flat Earth. Stupid. Let's move on.
Talking of stupid things and other scams, because there's a makeshift hair growth stall in Miruts, Lisadi Gate area of I think it's India, I suppose. It became the center of attention as hundreds of people stood in a queue, eagerly waiting to try a miracle baldness cure for just 20 rupees. It looks like he's just painting his head with black paint. But the bizarre that'll cure
I think
baldness.
He just stuck a dead rat on his head and brushed it.
But this bizarre event has since sparked controversy as a police investigation after a video of the crowd went viral, leaving many wondering if they were falling for a scam or generally seeking a quick fix for their hair woes. A man named Salman from Bajnor was at the heart of the treatment, in quotes, claiming to restore hair in just 8 days using a mysterious paste applied to people's heads. He just found it in some barrels at the side of the road.
It's the unused meat tube from Taco Bell that they put in a dumpster, man.
What do we do with these old jars of Marmite nobody wants? I'll just paint on somebody's head.
Why do Australians keep leaving this shit here? What are we going to do with it?
But the crowd, desperate for a solution, did not hesitate to pay 20 rupees for the treatment and an additional 300 rupees for for the medicine itself. As word spread about this so-called guaranteed bonus cure, the queue of hopefuls quickly grew, causing a traffic jam in the area. Even an ambulance got stuck in the congestion as people rushed to get in line for what they believed was a miracle. It sounded too good to be true, but I had to try.
I think the guy's spitting it out after paying for the treatment.
Oh, no, oh, dear God, it's not treatment. It's probably just like, tar or something, and you just get ended up with bits of fluff stuck to the top of your head. I've grown feathers and dust. but you think that's a great scam, and we're having to go at the Russians here because. Yeah. You wouldn't think the Russians actually had that kind of sense of humor, but yeah, Russian entrepreneurs looking to make a quick buck have started selling twigs online, marketing them as perfect snowman arms, and asking up to 5,300 rubles for a pair. That's about $50. Russian media recently reported that online classified platforms have been inundated with ads for snowman spare parts. Well, those body parts being flown around in Ukraine, you could probably just stick, some orc arms in there, real ones. But
they're probably going to attach these to dead Koreans to make them look like active soldiers still.
I thought they'd be using these as crutches. But anyway, apart from the snow itself, you can buy pretty much anything online, from the hat, carrot nose to coal eyes and buttons. But wooden twigs as arms have been particularly popular, with sellers asking from 500 rubles per pair to a whopping 5,500.
Wow.
Discounted from 5,900. Marketed as long-lasting, strong, reliable, and unique. The wooden snowman arms are said to be the perfect purchase for the holiday season. It's I mean, some of them just look ridiculously. They're just so flimsy. I mean, some of them look quite good, as far as snowman arms are concerned. But look at those.
Not like this. This quality, sir.
That's Ethiopian. Ethiopian arms.
I'll take 2 branches and a packet of gravel.
Yeah, so who didn't say the Russians didn't have a sense of humor? There you go. You fucking morons.
So I don't know if this is funny or not, or even true or not. It's coming out of the New York Post here, but White House aides are coming out now, and they're saying that they've been covering up President Biden's mental decline from day one of his presidency, shielding the aging commander-in-chief from the public, and even rearranging his schedule after scatterbrained performances. An explosive report is revealed on Thursday. Here's his reaction to it. The lack of access, but they're now. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this is true or not. I mean, this is coming out of the New York Post. If you don't know the site, it's one of those sites where it's completely just one big advertisement, and they have like 2 sentences of the story after every 20 ads, right? It's almost impossible to read. But they say lack of access to the nation's oldest ever president has been well known in Washington, with Biden hosting the fewest large press conferences in modern history, frequently descending into gaffes at the podium when he appeared. But how much the White House made up for the haziness until now had been hidden. And according to some aides and Democratic lawmakers and donors who have spoken with the Wall Street Journal, who is actually releasing the report, and I'm just getting the New York Post version of it. But the Wall Street Journal hates Canadians, and they think that we're all Elon Musk's. So,
that's not what I would have said.
yeah. Well, no, they all think we can afford to spend about $7,000 a month just to read some news articles from a place. Like it's a bit much, But the presidential staff are said to have formed a tight shell around Biden right after he took office, and immediately limiting his in-person interactions. it goes on. This is chaos to read because it's on this stupid site. Meetings were scheduled during a window of about 6 hours when he would usually be at his best. Officials were instructed to make their briefings very short and to the point and no long involved things. Private discussions with some of his top cabinet picks, including Janet Yellen and Lloyd Austin, grew way more infrequent. Some people were shut out entirely. They hired a voice coach and to help him with his faint, raspy tone of voice. Staffers would remove things from the stack of news that he would go through so that he wouldn't have to hear too much bad stuff about himself. I guarantee that's how Donald Trump lives. So I'm not really sure that's overly a bad thing.
No one dares share the bad stuff.
And it goes on to paint a bit of a negative picture. I do believe that the writing of this article coming from the Post is a little bit tainted. And I also believe that the timing of all of this is a little iffy. But PJ CNET in the chat, when this was being talked about pre-show and stuff, made a really good point. If this is really true, the Democratic Party faltered in a big way by not getting Kamala Harris involved sooner. And that's a damn good point.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. If it's true.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to see how this plays out because Wall Street Journal, as a Canadian who doesn't pay a lot of attention to hardcore American news, they always seem to be one you're supposed to be able to trust. They try to charge you the most. So, but then again, there's that whole thing where as people, we've been tricked into thinking when they try to charge us the most, they must be worth it. So
it's also kind of like potentially irrelevant now. I mean, a lot of people are like looking back at the election and trying to figure out where it went wrong and why it went wrong. And
lots of 4 years to figger that out for the next one. Who cares now?
Yeah, lots of fingers are being pointed and saying, "Well, this is why we lost." And there's lots of reasons. I'm seeing all kinds of people talking about it. So look, too much, too little, too late. Yeah. If you want to do that article, you should have done it 4 years ago.
Yeah, right. But speaking of years ago, I think Dunk's got something for us to put that into perspective.
Yeah, we're not talking about a first generation iPad, but we are talking about the oldest stone tablet inscribed with the 10 Commandments.
That's cool.
Sold for $5 million.
Wow.
An auction on Wednesday. Yes, Sotheby's said the 155 pound in weight, that is.
I thought you said millions. Oh, okay, right. You mean actual weight. Yeah. You guys in your currency. Anyway, keep going.
It's a marble slab. And, excuse me. It was acquired by an anonymous buyer who plans to donate it to the Israeli institution. I know it wasn't you, Dick Dawson, because you don't have $5 million going spare. But the New York-based auction house said the final price exceeded the pre-sale estimate of $1 million to $2 million, and followed more than 10 minutes. It's the tablet dates from 300 to 800 AD. So it's a kind of a modern piece.
people will pay $200 million for a Ferrari 250 GTO. How come this isn't worth more?
Well, I'll explain that in a minute because it's inscribed with the commandments in Paleo Hebrew script, and it's the only complete example of its kind from antiquity. It was unearthed during a railroad excavation along the southern coast of Israel in 1913, but was not recognized as historically significant at first. The tablet was actually used as a paving stone at a local home until 1943, when it was sold to a scholar who noticed its significance.
That's like wrapping your baby in the Shroud of Turin just because it was there.
A nappy, and it's got that covered in shit. But they say a tangible link to ancient beliefs that have profoundly shaped global religious and cultural traditions. It serves as a rare testament to history. But now this will probably explain why it didn't actually, work out. The full value, because it has all the usual kind of biblical verses and related to Christian and Jewish traditions, but it omits the third commandment against the taking the name of the Lord in vain. It doesn't have that one. Instead, it has a new directive to worship on Mount Gerizim, holy site specific to the Samaritans. I thought that's where Kirk had to take Spock's catcher to, wasn't it?
No, that's where he ripped off his shirt with the monster fight, right?
Yeah, it's famous in Israeli text.
yeah.
So it's got it's
Kirk
the Ten
means
Commandments
leader in Yiddish, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the fake 10 Commandments. Yeah, it would have. Obviously, it was supposed to be 15, but
Yeah, but Mel Brooks dropped 5 of them. I wanted to point out that I'm not sure it's real because that looks like a drunken crow was walking around on a chunk of clay. So
yeah,
there could be a thing there.
What's a gibberish?
Yeah. Okay, where am I headed to here? I went out of order and I screwed myself right up. And we don't have long.
You were going to blame me. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So, here we go. We'll pick on this fucking guy again. Trump and Vice President-elect Vance have demanded that Republicans in the House and Senate effectively force the federal government to shut down rather than passing a stopgap funding bill that would have kept agencies running at the current funding levels through the end of 2025 March. Right?
I thought it was Vice President Muscat said that.
Well, there's the elected vice president and then there's the real vice president. So, yeah, right. So this was posted to X by Vance where is it here? If they don't raise the nation's statutory debt ceiling, they accused legislatures of considering a spending bill that would give sweetheart provisions for government censors and for Liz Cheney, because continuing resolution drafted by House Speaker Johnson and his leadership team would have kept the executive branch from using a loophole in the law to obtain phone number and other communication records from members of Congress and aides who are supposedly protected by congressional immunity. Now, for me, I didn't get this at first, right? I'm like, wait a minute, what does one have to do with the other? And this is this weird thing that goes on in government. I think we do it too. They need to pass the spending bill to keep things going. And if they don't, bad. So what do? They each tack on things that they want on their own side of government to the bill. So you've got, let's get the spending bill passed. Oh, and by the way, all Republicans' names who start with D get a 25% raise or some shit. Like it's unbelievable. And this is what's going on. And Trump doesn't like the terms in the bill, even though they were already agreed to. So he's crying bloody murder. He did the same thing with the border wall. He blew that deal as well for his own political gain, not for anything that has to do with people in the country. And him blocking this, what it does is it takes everybody who suffered from hurricanes and stuff recently, and all the relief funds that are supposed to go to them are now on hold as well, just so he can fight a political battle. This is not a man who gives a rat's ass about walking on and stepping on anyone to get his own way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised at this point he's even in America. He should just be doing this on, some island somewhere where he can just
the Kremlin.
Yeah, where there's people. Well, so people can't go and stick pointy things in him. You horrible little git.
Yeah. So, big shout out here We got Whitefishy1 in the chat there. Direct donation through Ko-Fi for the Boom Boom Fun. Dawson Family Christmas. Put it where it needs to be the most. And that's from Whitefishy1. $20 direct in. So cool. Thank you very much indeed.
It's about time you got a soddy new chair.
Yeah, I'm sitting on an uncomfortable pillow because the chair is so bad, but that's another matter. Where are we going now here? Oh, we've got Armageddon's on fire. Just leveled up to Shill Master in the chat, and there's a message there. Oh no, there. Let's see, I'm getting this confusing thing where Stream Elements is confusing me again. Armageddon's on fire. PM me in the chat to get a shout out, because always appreciate member stuff around here. Big deal. Okay, so
yeah, well, we'll quickly go over this story. Because you remember those little, those astronauts that went up to the ISS as a little test run on the Boeing Starliner thing, and they got stranded. Because the Boeing Starliner didn't seem to be safe to bring them back. Well, I mean, it got back successfully in the end. But it left those two bastards up there. It turns out they're going to be stuck up there for a little bit longer. It's not going to be until March and next year until they get to come home. That's nearly 10 months in space when they're only supposed to have been up there for like a week.
And he's still doing Gangnam Style. He must be tired, man.
Yeah, I mean, when that's an old picture, I bet his hair is like hers now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the pool won't return till the end of March or even April because of a delay in launching their replacements. It's all about it's this strange sort of thing going on where how they're going to get them back. They're going to send a fresh crew up that needs to launch before Williams can return, and the next mission has been bumped more than a month according to the space agency. NASA's next crew of 4 is supposed to launch in February. Followed by Wilmore and Williams return home. Williams sounds like a lawyer.
Yeah.
And
or a Formula One team.
So they were going to be sent back with alongside 2 other astronauts, but SpaceX needs more time to prepare the brand new capsule for liftoff. The launch is now scheduled to no earlier than late March. Well, it's going to be January. Trump's going to be in charge, so I'm sure Elon can bump anything up.
Actually, I think Elon has just decided that's an unnecessary expense. So it might.
Just leave them.
Yeah.
We'll just push the ISS out to Mars now. Yeah, there you go. That's my next mission.
Oh, yeah. It can handle it. It'll be fine.
Hey, look, we're out.
And we got Ronnie Brankin in the chat there with a super chat. Thanks, bank account. Let's just get it into the red. Big thanks, Ronnie. Still don't understand what happened earlier, but I'll talk to you later. There was never mind. Yeah. Somehow I blocked him in the chat, but then I didn't. So YouTube is just screwing with everybody again. I thought we were going to be busy after the show right away, and I had no time in the world to do anything. It turns out that I'm actually going to have some time, and we might go live with an after show for an hour. If everybody in the chat wants to see an after show, say yes in the chat. We'll ignore you and do what we want anyway. Right? Nah. Yeah.
Well, we're supposed to be doing something else, but never mind. I'll talk to you about that.
Yeah. No, that's why I say like an hour tops, right? Because I just have a little bit of time. But wait a minute. Nope. I no longer have that time. All we have is time to hang out and stuff. So maybe I should have just waited for my phone to beep again. If you know my personal life, that's par for the course. I'm going to hit a button. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Bye.
Fuck. Hey, yeah, there it goes. It works. Well, I didn't pull down. There we go. Now you can probably hear me. Huge thanks to the team in the background who worked so hard to make this channel everything it can be. We got Annette, we got PJCnet, and we got Super Chat Matt. So big thanks to everybody because, hey, without everybody, you know, the ball won't roll down the hill.
Whatever he just said. And don't forget, thanks very much everybody who gives us donations, super chats, and become channel members or donates channel membership. All those little lovely things help the channel ticking along. Don't forget to hit like on the way out. I'm going to do that right now, so you just damn well do the same, okay? And don't forget to share us out on social media. Go on a Russian website and sell Shills t-shirts or snowman warmers, and maybe that will kick off. Or you can just do it on normal social media like you're supposed to. Don't forget to leave a comment or something like that in the show afterwards. And we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow for another show and the after show.
Yes, indeed. And since I had that confusion, it's changed twice again. So I'm just going to go stick my head in the sand and pretend I don't exist. Thanks for joining us, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Stay shitty.